I find it fascinating that you do so many different kinds of expressive arts. I mean, pretty much you also play instruments. Um, so you do it all. You're the full package. Uh, and you also work in it. So I'm intrigued by whether you find there's a distinction between working at creativity, whatever it may be, uh, and playing. And is it your play? First of all, that's the first question. When you just want to play, have a ball of fun and without any specific intention or direction and just be in the now, do you go to the arts or do you do something completely different?
Yeah, I still go to the arts. And now, as you were talking, I think it's probably the example that my father had. My father was a musician. Music was his life, but he was also, that was his work too. He repaired musical instruments. He was a conductor of a community band for 31 years or so. He played himself. He gave lessons. And I remember thinking that I could never do it that way. I could never have that as my job, because I don't want it to become a job. Because I loved music so much and I loved the arts so much, I could never make it my job, because then it would be work and I would lose the play. But I seem to have ended up just like my dad too, and incorporated it. We're lucky, actually. We're lucky to be able to have the things that we love be our job too. I mean, there's a lot of people who would love to be paid to be working in the arts. And so I've been very fortunate in the jobs that I've had, and the jobs that I do have that are still in the arts. But there's definitely a work aspect to it. For instance, when I'm teaching children, I do have to prep ahead of time. I have to make a schedule of what we're doing in the day, because usually what I get the Pro D days. So I have them for a whole day from 9 till 3. So I do the schedule of what projects we're doing, when we're taking breaks, when we're going outside, and researching if there's a theme, and then researching the different activities that are going to go with that theme. So yes, there is work involved, but it's fun work. I mean, I enjoy the research, and I wouldn't say often, I think pretty much every time I schedule more activities than we need, just because I just have so much fun doing it. So
awesome.
yeah,
and who knows, it might introduce you also to a different way of doing something that you can bring to your own art as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I could probably be more organized that way with my own art too, that I could incorporate my planning for children's art classes for myself. That could work. But yeah, but the thing is, so when I'm teaching, I do like the teaching. So I do thrive when I do the teaching of the children's classes. And I do enjoy it, even though it is a job and it is work. I remember one of my coworkers that works at the front desk at the Surrey Arts Centre. From the front desk, you can see one of the art studios, and it's usually the one that I'm in. The windows are open. And so she says, when I see you working there instead of at the front desk, she says, your face is all lit up. It's almost like you're a different person. You look like you're just so enjoying it. And I said, well, I am. I really do enjoy teaching art.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're beaming like that, it's obviously your passion, and it's your passionate play as well.
Yeah, and I can't, not that I don't think I have to think about it too hard, but I can't make it look like work, because if I can't bring the joy to it, then how are the children going to find the joy, see the joy, experience the joy? Because I don't want them to see it as work either. Occasionally mom will drop them off for the day, and it's just like, you're just going to this class and they're not going to enjoy it. But I try to make it enjoyable for everybody, but most of the time everybody just does. That's what I love about children, is they just do it. So.
And I think generally in a new situation, when you're told, okay, this is an art class, or you're going to have to be involved, there's that sort of reluctance initially. I think children and adults, both sets of people tend to do this, and hence the icebreaker, right? You need to break down that barrier that, especially for teens, I imagine, who might be a little bit more cynical and jaded and will roll their eyes, and it's just doing a little bit of group play just to break down those barriers. And the same thing is true in business meetings. I have a friend who's a business consultant, and she used to bring a bucket of toys before every board meeting that she
Good.
had with her
That's
client,
good.
and give each one of them a toy. And at first they would look at this and say, are you serious? What are we supposed to do? But then they get totally into it. And it's a way to brainstorm and to let go of that sort of seeing people in terms of hierarchy and positions, and to actually problem solve, which is what
Yes.
playing is so good at doing.
Absolutely. Yes, and when I put together a day, a Pro D day of art and a theme and everything, I do actually write down, this is this activity, these are the materials you need, this is one example of what that looks like. But I also talk about what it addresses, fine motor skills, or say color theory. So I don't just have them just as activities. I have them as addressed, because I usually have 6 to 10-year-olds. I address some of the actual things that they're going through in development as well. That is a throwback to my early childhood education experience. So that's where that comes in really handy. And I always have one piece that is a collaborative piece. So often everybody works at a different speed. So some people will be finished much earlier than other people are in a project, and some people will work on something for an hour. But in order to have something for those people who finish earlier, I have a collaborative piece. So usually it's a big, huge piece over 1 or 2 tables. And if they're finished early, then they can work on that collaborative piece at the end. But it's one of those things that you can work individually on your individual projects, but at one point you have to work together on something. You don't have to, but we'd like you to work together on something. And then I take a picture of something, of them holding it together. I don't put it anywhere, but just for me, and a picture of them all holding it together. And then I point out, like, what a great job you did working together, how you shared these pieces, and how somebody couldn't find this color, but you had it, and you said, I'm finished with it now, here, you use it. That's a great bit. And that's where, you can make the ties and connections to real life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You just built up teams, so cooperative learning and sharing. So many touchstones there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's why I think, school teachers are wonderful, because they get to work at this all the time. I know, and they work so hard, doing all the things that they do. I just have one day with them, but yeah, they get to do these working on skills and playing in art, but really, some of these things are skills that you're needing, that you'll need all through your life.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that leads into the next question: is how do you see creativity and play as part of wellness, or do you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I do have a page on Facebook that I had put together about 1.5 or 2 years ago, and it's just called Art Equals Wellness. And I don't editorialize or say how I feel about the things I post, but if I see something that talks about how there's a group that's called the Dancing Tones, and they have dance classes for people of all abilities, and what a wonderful society this is, that brings in anybody can do anything. People are in wheelchairs, people are a little bit more able-bodied than others, but everybody gets a chance to do something, and they're just such wonderfully warm people. So if I see a post that they've put down, I'll just share that, saying, look, this is the wellness of this group of people here, thanks to this other group of people who think that everybody should have a chance to dance.
Mm.
And or something, maybe what classical music does to brain waves and things like that. So
Hmm.
anything that has to do with art, and there's a good story with it that has to do with how it will make you feel or how it gets somebody through something. I have, stories myself of people, friends, artist friends, that have gone through things, and the art has brought them through the situations they've been in that have been challenging to them. So I just post those just to sort of just share with people that there are things all the time that are happening with art, whether it's performing art or music, and we're all seeing it now. How many things that we're live streaming, operas and plays and Broadway musicals and dance classes. I've taken some dance workshops myself. One of my daughters has helped out with a tap workshop, tap dancing workshop. And so what are all the things that are being posted? It's the arts.
Yes,
The arts is what's getting us through all of this.
it absolutely is. And it's fascinating on various levels. Number one, it's being the most underrepresented part of our economy, even though it's significant percentage of our economy. Um, I think a lot of people would be surprised to know that. But it's a fundamental part of our economy, although underpaid and undervalued until there's a time of crisis such as this. And then you see, uh, I almost suffer from FOMO, fear of missing out, because I've been so busy doing other things and work related things and just keeping up with family, friends. I think all this wonderful stuff is going on, and there's this real thirst to experience it all. And the imagination that people have is just fantastic. There was the National Ballet of Canada that did it with their core. They were dancing with vacuum cleaners and
Yeah.
some in pairs, others solo, and doing household chores, and it was tremendous.
Yeah.
And I think uh, number one, they're going to all benefit from greater appreciation and expansion of audience. But also, what you were touching on before, uh, they're also leveling up. I mean, they're doing things that even imaginative people, such as themselves, never even conceived of before, especially like a concert with multiple musicians. I mean, they didn't even think that was technically possible to do it at such a high quality. And some theater companies are doing online plays. So you're thinking, well, how much will stay with us in a post-COVID world?
Hmm.
Or are we going to revert? What are your thoughts on how you see art going? And as well, do you think that people will start doing more art themselves?
Well, my hope that we're going to stay there. We're going to stay at that level, and we can't unknow it. We can't,
Hmm.
unsee it. We know what's happened. We know the art is out there. I mean, try to go through a day where art doesn't touch you, from the clothes you're wearing to the music you're hearing,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. There's so much art in your life already, and design and all sorts of things. So you can't really go through a day without art. But I think within my community of artists, and I'm talking performance and visual, um, I think the people that I know, that I've known for a long time, I don't think they're going to let this slide. I think they're going to keep this up, um, and they'll definitely be there. I can't think of one right now that would not say, "Remember when."
Hmm.
You know, like when you needed us, you enjoyed us, you wanted us as artists. We're still here. We've always been here. We're not going away. So, you know, I hope that the realization of, um, yes, how much art actually touches our lives, uh, that people will see that. And if not, we'll be here to remind them. So I have no problem with that. So yeah, I mean, I know there's already, I think it's the Surrey Museum is already asking for photos and I think written material too. They're already gathering um, materials to put together a this is how it was, you know,
Hmm.
sort of thing, kind of journaling what is happening. And heritage is under arts and heritage. So that I know is going to be there. That's what's so nice about having arts and heritage be supported so much by a city and a community, is that um, they have that they have the means and they have the platforms with which to carry on with this and carry on supporting the arts, but also they're also saying, hey, you know, we can see what's happening, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yeah. Historic, and we have to journal it and chronicle it in order to understand it, and also for future generations.
absolutely, because if you think even now or when you were in school, if you look back at a civilization or, you know, like say the Renaissance or something like that, name anything, except for, you know, I mean, commerce and sports, maybe people will talk about them in past, you know, past civilizations. The Olympics has lasted a while,
Hmm.
but when you think about it, usually you refer back to a period, an age with the architecture and the art and the music, you know,
Hmm.
like the Renaissance, you know, and things like that. It talks about the creativity that was in that civilization. What kind of creativity? What was the painting? What were the paintings like? What kind of music was playing in this time? That's usually the reflection of that time period when you're talking about it in the past. So
Hmm.
it's important. So when you're hearing about things being cut in school and it's usually the arts, I mean, people have got it backwards. It's
and,
just,
and actually all the research is pointing to that,
yeah,
that for kids, and it's true also for adults, obviously, um, to excel in all the other subjects, you need the arts. You know,
yeah,
it uses both hemispheres of your brain, and you're constantly making new neurons, neural pathways, and this is true of the adult brain as well. And they're saying that art is fundamental to prevent brain disease in older adults.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we know this.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we know this. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I think we're going to maybe this was our foot in the door to go, here we are.
Wouldn't that be
Yeah,
tremendous? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure.